We here in late November of 1876 don't yet know who our president is going to be. It is still being decided between electoral colleges and everything else. It's been quite the story between Rutherford B. Hayes and Samuel Tilden, who I had a chance to run to both of them while I was touring and coming to here, this great state of Colorado.
The important thing to remember is that we won 51% of the vote. And despite the maneuverings of that new Colorado legislature, who wrongfully appointed electors without a vote of the people, we are only one electoral college vote shy of the 185 votes that we need to win. Governor Hayes must capture all 20 of the disputed votes to pull out a victory. The will of the American people to end Republican rule has clearly been stated at the ballot box.
Thanks to the people of Colorado, the White House is within our reach. I am hopeful that the courts will rule that voter intimidation and outright fraud swayed the outcome of voting results in Florida, Louisiana, and South Carolina. But thanks to our newest state, the state of Colorado, we have a path to the White House and victory for the Republican Party once again.
So, Mrs. Rout, let me put it to you first. How does the newest state in the nation here in Colorado resolve the problem of we don't even know who our president is going to be?
Well, certainly my husband has done what he can to deliver Republican votes in this election. What I think would change things is if women were finally allowed to vote. It's time for that to happen. I don't think these shenanigans would occur if women were finally allowed to vote, and it's time that that happens.
Well, Mr. Byers, where does Colorado stand on this? If I remember right from the reports, that it was actually the legislature here in the state of Colorado that named your electors. It wasn't even the fine people of Colorado that decided who Colorado would vote for president.
That's right, and that's because the people of Colorado are with the Republican Party. Not so much in the city of Denver, but they're with the Republican Party. And pardon me, I'm still trying to get over the notion of women voting. Pardon me, First Lady, but I can't see that ever happening. I'll tell you what. But the legislature appointing our electors is the right thing to do. Those 3 votes will go to Rutherford Hayes, but he's still 20 electoral points down behind Tilden, and so it's going to be a rough battle. But I do think, despite all the struggle over the 3 states in the South, and I hear there's even an elector up in Oregon that's a problem. I do think there will be a compromise to be made here. I think we can reach a compromise on this that'll be satisfactory to all parties.
Mrs. Tabor, I want to know what you think about this potential compromise. I can't think of an idea that where we would elect our president based on a compromise. A political compromise with the president just sounds preposterous to me. What do you believe?
Out here in the West, every person should have a vote, and Mr. Byers, that includes women too. Someday, women will have the vote. A woman may even be the editor of a daily newspaper in Denver someday.
Never.
That's an audacious claim.
I believe it is true. You know, my cousin, Franklin Pierce, was the president, Democrat. I am a good Democrat too. This state is not all Republicans, but it is an outrage that the Electoral College could decide who our next president is when this is every man and women for themselves. All votes should be counted.
I realize when it comes to national politics, you have a major role there. What are your thoughts in the presidential election?
The Democrats have put up the best candidate ever since 1828.
That's right.
And when they ran Andrew Jackson. The Republicans, who have had some the great Abraham Lincoln and John Fremont before him, instead they put up Rutherford Hayes, who was a nice but rather mediocre man. Hayes won 51%, Samuel Tilden, the great Democratic governor, won 51%. We need reform in government, and these shenanigans in the Electoral College are attempting to take away what was won fair and square on Election Day. And part of that was that Colorado, by what Congress decided for how we'd become a state, said the electors would be chosen by the Republican state legislature. I know the Republicans won the November elections mostly statewide, but I think Tilden was such a strong candidate that he still might have carried the state if the people had had the chance to vote.